go.
Yeah,
we're here
hello.
this time.
Oh, I have ears. I have ears as well.
How are you doing, Reach?
I'm doing very well, John. How's it going for everything else?
Tired, not going to lie. I'm not used to this, the LAN hours again.
Back in being live, what would you do?
No,
We've been waiting for it, haven't
absolutely shattered, but it's entirely self-inflicted, so I can't really complain to anybody else. Look, there's a bar. What do you expect?
Oh, good.
Anyway.
What are we here for?
This is the F1 2020 Fun Tournament Final, sponsored, of course, by Logitech G. So the winner of this gets a... I don't know if you can you see it
Fantastic.
on the camera? I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
It's the Logitech G923 True Force wheel and pedal set. See?
Obviously, being such a excellent racing game driver as I am, I know all about these things. But no, big thanks to Logitech for sending us that. And also, you can't see, but back here, they've kitted out the desk with some... Can I show you?
If you pull that and it unplugs, there's going to be trouble.
These are seriously cool keyboards. So yeah, they've sent us these and the mice to help control. So hopefully the observing should be excellent quality.
Well, how could it not be? It's you and me from here. We held 2 qualifying laps yesterday. So what we did is we did 1 lap in Italy Monza at one time, another lap in Italy Monza a couple hours later, and then we took the fastest lap finishers from there and put them all into a starting grid and in the right order. When we did this last time, we did it as a random, as a straight on, because we were just playing around with it. But now we're a bit better. We've got a racing grid set up. So would you like to let us know who's on the racing grid and in which position?
Yeah, so I'm not going to go through everybody's time, but the fastest time was 1 minute 20, and that was Tagmata, followed by Dr. Bubbly, Biscuit, Grimsy, Dave Marr, Lindy, Maz GP, the Mr. Fox, Davral, DT4E, Wembley, Magico Illusions, Progspawn, Morphos, Sman, Andy Y, Solaris, Fire, Broomy, DMC, and Jin, bringing up the rear, as it were.
That's it. We also had one other contestant who sadly didn't qualify, Oliver, OB Gamer. He's going to be watching what's going on because he wants to see what's going on that bit there. So thank you very much, Oliver. But what I have said is that a few of us have said we didn't get a full race because I obviously don't get a chance to play most of the time. So me, Andy Y, and a few of the others are going to do a race tomorrow at 11 AM. So join us on there if you can, because we'll be having fun with that. And you'll be able to see how dreadful I am at any type of computer
Reach will
game.
definitely be last.
Absolutely.
To be fair, I remember... probably during the start of lockdown when you started playing racing games a little bit more than you did, and you started to understand
Assetto, is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah, ACC.
You can even pronounce the game now, which you had some interesting ways of.
It's only 1 o'clock. I can't do that here.
But yeah, I think you started to understand the intricacies a lot more, and as somebody who doesn't drive a normal car
and plays kart racing games, I expect it to handle like an arcade. So the sim type racing is totally new to me. But strangely enough, like when we did last time, I find watching it, listening to you explain bits and pieces, watching people play, absolutely amazing. So if we hit the spectate,
I'm very scared of doing this. For anyone that knows Monza, the first corner is going to be an absolute carnage.
If what we've said is that if they do actually, if there's 10 or more crap out on the first one, then I'll quickly go back and recall because it will keep all the things saved. But otherwise, they're going to have to live with it.
Okay, so more than 10 have got to make it through the first corner.
More than 10 have got to make it through the first corner.
Okay.
Let's see how we go. Our drivers are now readying up. And the session will start in the next 20 seconds. So, John, while I'm starting up from this bit here, I don't know, you did a great introduction in EPIC34 about the Silverstone track. So what do you know about Monza?
I don't have any shed facts about Monza.
Shed facts.
It's the oldest track in Europe.
Okay.
And it's also one of the, if not the fastest, on the F1 calendar.
Right.
Because it's just got a heck of a lot of straights.
Right. We can see people starting to line up now. We've got a view of the garage.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, huge straight into the first corner. Turn 3 in an F1 car would be pretty much flat out. And then, of course, at the end, we've got the famous Parabolica as well. You can see as you go around the track, some of the original circuit, it's literally still banks, and as a visitor, you can walk around and see how steep the old banked circuit is.
That's fine, just waiting for people to load into the game.
Yeah, my mother was was in Italy a couple of years ago, and they were just like wandering around a national park and suddenly found themselves at Monza Circuit. It's like, oh.
I think at that point in time, they've got a few options on wheels at that point in time that we're showing the players. We're both doing spectators, so we wouldn't be able to see that at this point in time.
I need to. If I press, what buttons can I press to change
when
spectator view?
People start going in, you should be able to do a spectator view with the return key, and then it'll give you the options along the top.
I'm going to try and give you as much info as possible for this one. So we're going to try and get some timings up.
You see our starting grid over there.
Okay, I'll play around with buttons in a minute because we're off already. Tagmata's still kept the lead. No, he's not. He's lost it into the first corner. Right, let's watch out for the carnage. No, oh no, oh no. Okay, I don't know how many people made it through. We've got Grimsey with a warning already. I think there may be some little bits of damage, but I don't think we lost anybody.
During the driver's briefing, we actually had a chat about this, and that's why we came up with the things there. They all tried to keep to one side and move around on that bit there to make certain they could actually get past. So we've had most people get through there now. Would they be able to repair that damage at the first pit stop?
It depends what they've done. If it's something like a front wing, then yes. If there's any more serious damage, then no chance. I mean, Tagmata's still in second. He's down 1.2 seconds behind Dr. Bubbly Biscuit, who's now taken first place.
So we've got two views here. The one that you're seeing on that one, and I've got an additional spectating view here as well. So I'll be setting that to different things on John's request as we go. Oh, I saw a predicted stop strategy turn up on my screen. What's that all about? That would be representing what the team would do to actually give them instruction on when they should come in.
Yeah, so again, like in normal F1, there's got to be at least one tyre change, so you need to use two different compounds throughout the course of the race.
Right.
It's a dry race, you've been vaguely kind to them, so we'd expect to see people changing. It just depends what strategy they're going to go on. I think we can... how do I get back out of this?
Just escape on that one there, and then F1.
I should be able to change... There you go. So you can see... So we've already got... maybe there was a bit more damage at the beginning. We did have Mr. Fox, Wembley, Grimsey, Lindy and DMC who've all pitted. In fact, that kind of suggests to me that those guys are out. Shall we try and find somebody like Grimsey maybe? Where oh no, he's still there.
Yep. Are you watching?
Oh, no.
There you go. That's Grimsey now.
Yeah, he's there. He's crawling around. Let's head back up to the front now and see what's going on. Where have we got close battles? Davrel and Marmon looks like it could be an interesting. Let's see what's going on with these guys. Because we were criticised a bit last time because we followed what was going on at the front of the race, which obviously we want to see the winner, but some of the closer battles are going to be at the back. Like Dave Marr's currently like 0.1 seconds behind Davrel, so. How strict were the stewards' rules set? Because there's...
So we left the stewards' rule sets as forgiving on corner cutting. So you're allowed a small amount of corner cutting, but not as much. So the more experienced players will actually find that very useful. The actual amateur players will find it helpful, let's put it like that. But it was just to allow the people who are playing for fun to be able to try and complete a lap as they go. So this as a 50% race, you've got how many laps is it about?
27, exactly.
27, oh there we go, it's at the top. Yeah, okay. I remember setting from that bit there. I actually got looked at like a stupid when obviously I said, well, it should take the same time as Silverstone because it's again half distance. Of course, all these things are different speed, different size, different speed, different shapes. So
oh, we just lost someone.
Someone
straight touched the barrier. Didn't catch who that was. I think it might. I don't know.
It may come up on there if it's unrecoverable.
Do we get any sort of steward's messages?
We do. I can get. There we go. I can get a update. I think that's person. It should turn up grayer if anything's happened to them.
Let's see what's going on with Dr. Bubbly Biscuits. Where is it? Is Tagmata going to go for the overtake? Oh, that's tight. That's tight.
Whoa! Look at that. Oh, little kiss. Little kiss.
I don't know if he did.
I thought I could see a little wiggle on that one there. Just the wheels on the edge there. Yeah, sorry, I've got a bit of a dark screen on that one that I'm trying to see, so I was trying to see what that was.
I can use that. Let's take the view from Tagmata instead.
Go for it. I'm moving on this one here to take a look at.
Here we go.
So the Mr. Fox listed back there's all going now. Oh, race control. Grimsby has actually had a corner cutting penalty. So you see, it's applied
So
a 3 second rather than a large or a warning in that one there. It's a penalty rather than a knockout.
So really they're supposed to keep at least, well, some of the wheels within the white line.
That was the bit I was trying to figure out from the track markings. What is cornering harsh, what is cornering easy? Obviously in the main actual real sport, it's you must not.
No,
we allow a little bit on this one here.
No, it's not. So, in theory, if all 4 wheels go outside of the white line at the edge of the track, that is the edge of the track. Right. And some of the commentators in real F1 are very particular about that and get really, really annoyed at the lack of consistency. Their logic is, if this were a street circuit, that white line would be a wall.
Right.
And you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You can't.
As Monza's not great for run-up areas either. So yeah, some of the views from the real commentators are that if you go over, you get penalised. Doesn't matter which circuit you're at. Doesn't matter which corner it's at. Unfortunately, the stewards are a little softer on some circuits and some corners than others. So they'll often issue directives at the start of the race that say, this particular corner, let's say turn 11 in this case, if you go off here, then you'll definitely get a penalty, and it leaves all sorts of ambiguity around whether you can or can't leave the track.
And as you told me last time, penalties are actually applied at the end.
Not necessarily.
Oh, not necessarily.
There's a bank of penalties that the stewards can pick from.
Right.
Depending on the severity. So anything from 5 seconds up to full drive-through penalties, stop-and-go penalties that have to be served immediately.
Right.
Depends when it happens in the race as well. So one of the worst penalties is where you have to pit, stop. Your mechanics stand that Mr. Fox has dropped, by the way.
Oh dear.
Your mechanics stand there with a stopwatch. They can't touch the car, they can't work on the car, the stopwatch ends, then they can do whatever they were going to do in the pit stop. Even though that penalty might be 10 seconds on paper, the fact that they've had to go through the pit lane again makes that total penalty 30 to 40 seconds depending on the track.
Longer.
So it's a really harsh punishment, and you have to serve it within, I think it's 2 laps, 3 laps.
I've just noticed Tagmata's just moved up on the lap counter on there. On my one, I was looking at overall timing, so I actually saw they had a better timing a moment ago until they'd completed that lap and moved across. That was another thing that I was getting information on from the players, was about how laps work for counting, and you'd explained about interval and stuff to me last time as well. So yes, couldn't quite see from those bits there. Okay, I'm going to have a look at the middle of our group there. So
well, if we go to Mar for a second, so Dave Marr has recently pitted, so you can see from the left of the view here, because he's only done, well, he's on his first lap on the hard set of tyres, so he looks like he's the first person to make a switch and go on to a different tyre. All the others, you red your soft, which is basically a cheese tyre, yellow's your medium, and then the white is the hard tyre. So this is Dave now. And
you do have soft, medium, and hard cheese, you know, John.
See,
that's not the point. This is F1. Carry on.
Even the soft tyres, like when you feel one of the slick tyres,
they actually feel.
Well, no, even the softs, like you'll struggle to dig your nails into it. Like we wouldn't notice, but it makes a huge difference.
The way the car works there. So for me, all I know as a non-driver is tyres grip at different things. So soft, medium, hard. What does that mean for? Is it to do with grip? Is it to do with weight? Is it to do with?
It's a combination of the grip and the longevity of the tyre.
Oh yes.
So you will get the softer tyres will essentially be a faster tyre, but don't last as long.
Right.
So you won't get as many laps out of those, which means you're going to have to pit earlier. And the harder tyre will last longer, but you don't quite get the same amount of grip.
And are you allowed to change soft, or are you only allowed several sets, like one set of soft and one set of?
There is a limit.
Very silly, but I honestly don't know.
No, there's a limit. Which a lot of that is now environmental, just like there's engine limits.
Of course.
So the tyre manufacturers and the FIA set the tyre limits, so only a certain number get taken out to a race.
Okay.
So you can't just constantly keep, like in qualifying, for example.
That's it. That's what I thought.
In qualifying, if you had unlimited tyres, you would change your tyres every time you go out, and then you just throw them away again.
And then you'll get the fastest each time. Yeah.
Obviously, that's not sustainable.
No.
In the world these days, and they're not cheap either.
No. Well, no, it's interesting seeing these things and just knowing from a car with wheels. So I'm just going to, on my screen, I'm just going to go and shovel some things around on timings because I want to see.
I'm jumping back up to the top as well because this battle between Tagmata and Bubbly Biscuit is still ongoing.
Actually, still ongoing. It's still exciting. They were the two best qualifiers. Now, if you remember, Bubbly Biscuit played last event at EPIC34, and I believe he was either 3rd or 4th place from that one there. So he's got experience from the Silverstone track from there. I know he plays quite a long time. I know Maz does as well. So it's actually interesting seeing him playing with Tagmata there. Now I've known Tag in the past, but I didn't know how much he's played F1. It seems like an awful lot.
We know him as a Rocket League player.
Yeah, Rocket League. That's car football, isn't it?
Pretty much.
See, I know that one. See, there's something with cars and games.
So the bottom half of the grid from Lindy down, they've all taken a stop. Now I don't know whether that was
as a result of the
the chaos at the start. Yeah. But what are we on, lap 8? And they were all on softs up at the top, weren't they? So it's not going to be long before we start seeing some of these come in.
Just to swap out the tyres for that bit there. Now, in F1 2020, I don't know. I mean, I obviously I've only really spectated. I haven't properly played. I played a little bit so I could see what the buttons were doing. But when you come and look at the way that the thing behaves for tyres wearing out, your car behaves worse and worse the longer you go down there. Oh dear. DMC, 3-second time penalty. So it emulates and gets worse and worse the more you're staying on those tyres. And you can't just stay on because you're wearing them down on that bit there. So.
As we often hear Hamilton moaning.
Now, I believe there's something that you wanted me to laugh at when it came to the actual circuit. you made me laugh about the shed in Silverstone.
I was just forewarning you.
Okay. Shed in Silverstone. What's in this one?
No.
Okay. Forewarning me. Okay, fine. We'll see what happens when he says it. I'm just moving some timings over here. I've got a little view of the entire track map on my screen as well, so I can see what's going on throughout down there. John's actually put it up on that one as well, so you can see that behaviour and where we are, and the people that we're following on the side there, nipping backwards and forwards. It's actually spread out quite a bit from individuals there. Let me have a little look.
Let's take a look what's maybe about to happen with Grimsey. Again, he's gaining on Lindy. So.
And he was very slow like Mr. Fox at the very start, so I suspect that he suffered quite a bit.
He did just completely cut that corner as well, but we'll ignore that.
We'll ignore that one. No, but seeing him go all the way up and carry on moving.
Well, we should be able to see the position change. There you go. So Grimsey actually, he's 8 places down from where he started.
Really?
Whereas Sman and Andy White are 11 places up where they started. Again, that lap 1 chaos.
So explain to me again the thing like leader and interval and stuff like that. So is that so that Tagmata and Dr. Bubbly Biscuit are very close, but everyone else is quite a distance behind?
We've got different timings on at the moment. So the one on my screen and the one that everyone can see, Grimsey just got that overtake, by the way. So the one on screen that everyone else can see is the distance behind the person in front of you.
Right, I see.
Whereas if we switch to that, that's the distance behind the leader.
Right.
So Jin's now getting lapped. DMC and Solaris probably will as well. Whereas Dr. Bubbly Biscuit's now a second, 1.4 seconds behind. And then a huge gap down to Maz and Smart.
And we reckon that was as a result of the bumps at the front. It wasn't enough to total everyone.
No, I don't think so. I think this is just the drive-in from these two. They've managed to pull ahead. Again, let's jump back up to Bubbly Biscuit.
Yep. Going on to lap 10 now.
So again, we're waiting for the stops from these.
Lap 11, sorry.
We now have 3 penalties. So Grimsey's going to get 6 seconds added on at the end. Broomy's getting 5 seconds added on at the end, and DMC's getting 3 seconds added on at the end.
So when you look at the driver panel down in the bottom right, you've got information like overtake and ERS, and that's explained when you can and how you use it. Those are guidances to let you know when those options are available for you. The ERS thinks it's doing a percentage. Oh, that's the track that you use, isn't it? Do you wind that up and down?
No, so
That charges.
basically F1 cars have turned into hybrid cars.
Yes.
So you've got your normal fuel engine, if you like.
Yep.
And then you also have battery packs on board. Those batteries charge when you do certain things like braking.
Okay.
You can then redeploy that energy that's been harvested from the braking to give you a little boost.
This makes it sound like Star Trek. This is the thing that surprises me with this. You think that it's just wheels on something that looks very flimsy instead of a car that you see on the road, but these are high science, very technical vehicles in sport.
A lot of the tech that we're now getting on road cars has come from the engineering. Here we go. Dr. Bubbly Biscuit's coming in for his first pit stop now. As is Tagmata, they both pit at the same time. So again, in normal F1 at this point, this would be a race between the mechanics. Obviously, there's no way of that being controlled.
Oh. Is there a hierarchy of leaving pit?
No.
No.
It just has to be safe.
Right.
That's why it's a race in the pit lane, and there are entire races won and lost just in the pit lane.
Right.
So those mechanics will practice those manoeuvres tens of times per day. Bearing in mind these are heavy tyres as well.
I know.
But it's all rehearsed. You'll see them on the early days when they get to the racetrack of just pushing the car in, practicing that almost like a dance routine.
That's what I was about to say. It's like they've got to choreograph to move this there, then that person does this one does that. But they're not like waiting for them. They're just doing it in dance moves.
You have a role, you do your role, but then they also have people as backups for those roles as well.
Of course.
So if you get yours wrong, there'll be somebody waiting behind you to jump in.
Push
Similarly,
you out the way and jump
things like the wheel guns, sometimes there was a case with Bottas, I think it was earlier in the year, where his wheel nut just got completely sheared by the gun, but there will be spare guns there as well in case one of them fails. When you've got a race this close, where they pitted 1.3 seconds apart or whatever it was when they went into the pit lane, that could have changed position just in the pit lane.
Instantly on that one there. Well, I can see there's a bit of distance between them now from when they were biting at each other's
You
heels.
say that, it's a second.
Yes.
And because they're a second apart, Bubbly Biscuit will have a tool he can use called DRS.
Yes, I heard about that.
Which is his flappy wing.
His flappy wing.
His flappy wing.
The technical terms coming out here today are actually astounding.
It is his flappy wing.
Yeah.
So if he's within a couple of seconds of the driver in front at the detection point on this track, then he can deploy that DRS and use it to get closer and hopefully to overtake. It was one of the measures, essentially it stalls the rear wing, and it was one of the measures put in to try and help with overtaking.
Right.
But that became an official tool because McLaren at the time found a loophole in the rules called the F-duct. And what they basically did, they had a hole in the front of the car. The hole was in or around the F of the Vodafone logo at the time when they were sponsored by. That's how it became known as the F-duct. And the driver could stall that airflow by using his knee to cover a hole in the cockpit that then changed the airflow at certain times to allow the cars to get closer. There was nothing in the rule book at the time that said they couldn't do it. So they did it. Everyone then kicked off.
Exploits.
It's not an exploit. It's constantly trying to find something in the rules that gives you a competitive edge over everyone else. It's like with Red Bull have had a huge history of their wings flexing, and yet every time it's been tested, it's been within the legal parameters. So they've constantly been accused over the year of pushing that side of technology. And this has always happened in F1. You know, we had like active suspension years ago with teams like Williams. But yeah, the F-duct, so just finishing that off, it was banned, but then it was turned into an official tool because they didn't like the idea that drivers were controlling this within the cockpit because it was either being done by the knee or the hand.
And it's out of the remit of the team, I'd assume.
Exactly. So it was turned into a proper tool that everybody could use, but with limits put on. So you can use it 1 or 2 times in a track, depending on the track. There are specific zones where it can be used, and they're zones that are intended Oh, Solaris has dropped out, by the way. He's asking if he can be invited back in.
I don't think we can, because that would...
Can you do it off that one? Oh, I don't know if I'm friends with him.
We are just in as spectators, that's the thing at this point in the game. Let me see if I get anything on here.
Oh, I am friends with him. That's rare.
And Fox gone out as well. I'll see if that's possible.
I think Fox dropped a long time ago, but I don't know if that was a retirement or a
we couldn't tell
crash
on that one there. And
right.
DT4E has gone DNF as well. So let's see if there's anything I can do from here.
I don't know whether we missed a crash or not. There's a lot to try and keep an eye on without having somebody essentially observing for us. Let's take a look at Wembley, because Wembley's potentially going to go for the overtake here on Sman. No, I don't think he's close enough. I've also lost on timing.
I'm just checking with DT4E, since you didn't see, was that a network drop like Solaris's was? Mr. Fox, and I look at the things there, it wasn't a network drop for Mr. Fox, but I can't read it out what he said because of the time it was there. So it was absolutely a bump. I think that was the face bump one we saw at that point in time. So
we did just nearly see Wembley drive straight into the back of Sman.
Oh. Yeah.
This is one of the corners that an F1 car would be completely flat out.
Thing is, and at this level in the back, in the Silverstone one, it was a longer half race. There were more laps, weren't there, on that one there? And was it slight different distance? Because it seemed like
each track. So there's a target time limit that the FIA want races to run to. That's why some of the really short circuits you'll have 70 odd laps. In this case, half distance is 27. I think it's a 5.7 kilometre circuit.
Yeah. One thing that I was looking at when I saw that there as well, with the longer laps and things you saw on Silverstone, we actually had a lot of people very, very close together throughout the entire race. Is the spread? Well, I know you said that the great lead at the start is because they're showing exceptional skill at that bit there, but the bump at the start with people slowly trying to move out and trying to avoid each other, would that have added the differences there or not? I mean, it's nearly half a minute, isn't it, when you get to the first two?
Like, by this point, they could have recovered that. I'd say the gap at the moment, at this point in time, would be skill rather than the impact of that crash. They've had time to resolve that. It could have been damage to the car that's meant that they're not able to recover that. But I think, look at the gap between first and second place and then down to third. That gap's now being pulled out to 25 seconds.
And when I look at my things that I can see on here as well, you showed me the one about position change as well. You can see there's a fair bit of movement as people have gone on those lower bits. So people have been racing up and pulling back anyway. Is it my imagination? A lot of people are now moved from soft to medium, haven't they? I did see all reds earlier on in this game.
So what the thinking there is probably that they don't want to pit again. So they'll have taken that first compulsory pit stop around lap 10.
Because they knew they'd have to have one, no matter what type of tyre you're using, it will all wear down.
So they've used the soft tyres at the start of the race to try and get good positions, try and get ahead. Grimsey's just taken another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. If you look now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people with warnings.
I did actually remember, didn't I post Powers of Smithy a wooden spoon last time for the amount of warnings that he got? So
they'll have used those soft laps at the start, try and get that advantage, try and build that gap to bank that pit stop time.
Great.
What they'll be hoping now is that the mediums or the hards that they're on. So Dave Marr went very early onto the hard tyres, and he'll now hope that that lasts to the end of the race. The thinking would be, if they can eat those tyres out right to the end, but somebody in front of them has to stop. If they manage those tyres carefully, then they can win by not having to do another pit stop, because that's another 20, 30 seconds that gets
brilliant. That makes
sense.
Time.
So Dave Marr's early switch to the hard tyres may just pay off, as long as he can get them to the end of the race.
Brilliant.
Conversely, Davral has done a longer first stint, and he's gone on to soft tyres unless he's changed twice. Let me
Just
double check.
checking.
What do I need? Davral.
Doesn't show me on
Oh,
that
Davral.
bit.
No, Davral stopped twice.
Oh, right, so he has gone through.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a particular reason for the second stop, but now he'll be hoping he can do the final 9 laps on those soft tyres again, faster tyres. So he's got rid of his slower tyre that he's had to use.
Yeah.
Now he's going to push to the end on those.
So we're on to the final third of this race. I can do maths. I can do maths at 1:30 on a
Who are we
Saturday.
following at that? So Wembley. Why is Wembley coming in? Oh, right. Yeah, Wembley had done 15 laps on these tyres, so his mediums are shot now. So if I was him, I'd be switching to the softs.
Let's see what he
He
does.
is.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
it's
you
like-
go.
There's no reason not to, right?
No.
If you've only got 9 laps left.
And he's just having to burn those through to get the
Exactly.
maximum speed that he can from those. Excellent.
Let's jump up to see somebody else. Who shall we see?
I'm going to move over to.
Let's jump up to the front. Let's see what's going on.
I've gone back to Maz, so I'm looking.
Sorry, we just had the Monaco TV director there who was showing a corner without any cars on it. It was awful. It was so bad.
There's a car. No, really, there was. Take my word for it.
So Monaco's got this really weird setup. It's because it's historic and everybody loves Monaco, despite it being a terrible track. But they're allowed to have their own production company, like directing the event, so that they always have and will continue to have their own TV director.
Okay.
That just missed everything, like every overtake, even the really significant ones.
Yep. Totally gone.
Just he wasn't there, and it kept flicking to cameras with no cars on there, and like there was a huge overtake about to happen, and he went to somebody cutting a corner instead of, and everyone missed the overtake. It was literally one of the worst sets of TV directing there's been in a long time.
Wow, that's. I did feel the passion from that one there as well. It's like
It was up, but there are some
outrageous.
brilliant memes out there from it.
Oh dear.
He'd got this fascination with Lance Stroll and just kept watching him despite his position in the race being entirely insignificant.
So the race directors for that bit there, they've got control over camera feeds and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's similar to what we're doing here actually from this bit of view.
Exactly.
with our
It's
guys
like
over there.
like any other broadcast. They'll have a wall of monitors in front of them. They can see what's going on. They can cut to different cars. But even within the cars, I mean, we only get 2 views on this
Yeah.
one. But even within the cars, you've got that T-bar there is
Yeah.
a camera.
Oh right, on top, on the front above the
Yeah.
cockpit. It is
So-
cockpit, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
So
learning.
that's this view, is that T-bar
Got it.
up at the top. Then some of the other cars, and there's different experimental camera views that keep coming in as well. So sometimes there's like a PTZ type camera on the wing that the TV director can pan around. That gives you some
Actually,
interesting
remote
views.
control swivel while the car's in
Yeah.
motion. That's insane.
It's a weird view because it's really low down to the floor as well.
Yeah.
And Alonso, as an experiment a few races back, had a helmet cam with a tiny little camera just above his eye. It wasn't great quality, but it was a fascinating view because you could see what the driver could see.
And you could almost, I guess, feel what the driver can feel, because I'm assuming that, yes, I know it's got some sort of shock suspension so that your bones don't fall out while you're
Oh, yeah.
racing, but this will feel really
Yep.
visceral for that there.
But it
Have
was-
you been on a racing experience or something like that? Do they do one? They
I'm
wouldn't do one for F1 cars,
the-
surely, or do they?
The size
Don't
of
know.
me, like, genuinely, would be absolutely pointless. And there's no way I'd get in any sort of car like this. I literally would not fit it. I've karted a bit. I'm not, again, my weight goes against me. It makes a bigger difference than you realise. There is a maximum allowed weight of the driver plus the car.
Similar to jockeys and horse racing, I guess,
Yeah.
for that bit there. It's all part of the equipment you're using when
So-
you're racing, your body weight as well as your
Yeah.
skill.
So for every extra kilogram that driver weighs,
Yeah.
they've got to take that off the car somewhere.
Fine.
Similarly, they can't be underweight either, so they have to add ballast if everything's too light.
I'll just keep my Kinder Eggs. I'm perfectly happy with that. Fine. Don't mind if I'll never get in one of those. Interesting. Like I said, as a non-driver, the difference between driving a car, because those of us who are non-drivers might just see something like this as being, it's car racing. It's so much more than that. It's a whole machine that behaves a certain way. I'm seeing it less and less as being a four-wheeled vehicle, to be honest. Remember last time I was endlessly fascinated. I said, why do they put that weird thing in the F1 game where you've got all the buttons and stuff on it? And it's like, no, that's what they actually have. That controls all of these functions. It isn't just steering and going faster and slow. And those functions you told me about are there.
The wheels are personalised to each driver as well, so they can move buttons around. So if Hamilton prefers his drink button to be over here, they will reconfigure that for him, again, just to optimise and get that muscle memory of the wheels. But then you change teams, and teams would have different wheels as well. There's all sorts of information that can be sent to the driver on here. Sometimes you'll see drivers with bits of paper stuck in the car with the circuit and the corner numbers on there.
Really?
Just throwing the fastest lap up as well. Unsurprisingly, Tag Mouter's got the fastest lap.
When it turns purple, it's an improved fastest lap as well, from what I remember.
So he's on a 1:23.1. The fastest lap at the circuit in a real car.
Oh, a fact here.
The record has been there, and it's not been beaten since 2004, and it was Rubens Barrichello.
What was their time?
It was a 1:21. And I am looking.
Oh, Tag Mouter beat that yesterday. Fine.
Yeah, I don't know how many corners he managed to.
Yes, with our extra laxer rules on that one there.
But yeah, that was in a Ferrari back at the time.
Yeah.
Surprised it's not been beaten.
Let's have a look up. Can we have a look up at Marmin, because he's now been able to move above Maz into third position from what I'm seeing here. So he's had that climb up with that tyre change.
We can see Marmin, but if I get the interval, what am I trying to find here?
Stops, tyre. Oh no, it's the gap area that shows you interval.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an interesting view for what we see from Marmin, because
there's no one ahead.
He's 30 seconds. People are literally a third of the way around the track compared to Marmin.
That's still amazing, and they're quite spread out apart from that little group just on that bit there. But no, it's not even a group; it's only two. That bit for that bit there. It's well changed from that bit.
Yeah, the interesting. Hello. I love the interface.
To be honest, I find it better with a controller because I can use the shoulder buttons and stuff like that. So there you go, view from Prog there, yeah?
Yeah, so Prog is currently, he was less than half a second behind Davral.
I can see a little bit of space after that little corner there.
You also don't want to be too close either. If you're not going to make the overtake, following behind the car in front, you're in dirty air, and that means your car's got to work harder to keep up. So there's a balance between getting that slipstream to overtake and being stuck behind the car.
Interestingly, speaking to Wembley during the practice laps about slipstreaming, with it being quite a close and fast track, what benefits does slipstreaming do? I know of the sciences, but
I say in this case there is that balance to find. You want to do it right at the point you want to overtake. You don't want to be stuck in that. It's like the car shapes the air as it passes over, and you sometimes see these little...
So you're cadging the fact that they have already moved.
Yeah. So in one sense, they're piercing the air in front of them.
Yep.
That's the slipstream side. So you get into that slipstream, you get less resistance, and you overtake.
Yep.
If you're not in that perfect position, you're in dirty air, which is not optimal for the car. It's not. The air's not flowing towards. Yeah, the air's not flowing towards the car in the way that the front of that car has been designed.
It's already been disrupted the wrong way.
Exactly. You're going to get more resistance. The car has to work harder. The tyres have to work harder.
Yes.
And you end up chewing through your tyres and having to replace them. So, yeah, it's balancing that gap. So, Davral here might decide to hold back for a little bit because he knows, let's say, his best chance of overtaking. Turns 8, 9 and 10, one of the chicanes. Okay. So he might know, I'm good at that, I know I can get him on that one. For the rest of the lap, I'm just going to hold back, look after my tyres, and then as we go down that straight into that chicane, then I'm going to get him. That might not be what's going through his head, but theoretically it could be.
I can see how it would play out.
Let's go and have a look at our...
Moving into the last few laps now.
We are. Let's have a look. So Tag Mouter is about to lap somebody. Who's he about to lap? Who's pink? Oh, he's about to lap Jin, who has been lapped how many times? Twice. So this will be the third time Jin's been lapped.
So that bit that now shows the timing, and that shows the lap out.
Yeah. So
the lap
up to 14th.
Yeah.
they haven't been lapped yet.
Right.
That's why it's an amount of time.
Yep.
From 15th onwards, they're at least a lap behind plus
Right.
time.
Oh.
And this...
There
see,
we go.
oh no! Oh no! I would be fully blaming Jin for that. So Jin came back onto the track and wasn't really looking. Again, had that been a real race, Jin would have been penalised for that, for rejoining the track unsafely.
Right.
That then threw Tagmata off because he had to swerve to avoid him. He caught the curb, he caught the paint on the curb,
And
went
Bubbly
into a
Biscuit
spin.
did
He's
pass.
now trashed his front wing. Bubbly Biscuit took advantage, now ahead. So if Tagmata's now 3 seconds behind, he gets no DRS, he's got a knackered front wing, that's probably his race lost.
Oh my word! And it can change just like that as something happens.
Might be wrong, but again, depending on how realistic the damage is, that definitely would have hurt his car. And so he's not got that DRS advantage. Whether he can make that up in 2 laps, I very much doubt.
Just move back to that.
Let's have a look. I don't think we will see. Yeah, I don't think it'll give us any sort of view.
And that
Of the
X
car.
thing, I'm assuming, means bad. Oh, there we go.
No, no,
That was information, was it? Not.
we can't. He's lost half his front wing. So if you look on the
you can
right,
see it on there.
all of the fins that are designed to, again, shape that air to flow over the car
Totally
in the
gone.
right
You
way.
can see it on
Yeah.
that side.
So he did take damage from that.
And of course, at this time, it's the last couple of laps. There's no.
He's lucky that he didn't lose any tyres.
With the way it bounced in the side there.
Yeah, you get carbon fibre flying all over the track. If he'd picked up a puncture for that, he would have. Because that, where did that happen? I think it was quite early in the track, so he would have had to have crawled all the way back to the pit lane and probably damaged the car even more as he went. Yeah, he's losing time now. He's no longer gaining. Can I get the lap time? I don't think I can get the current lap time. No. Yeah, he's constantly falling back. If you look, he's coming up. There we go, 5 seconds behind now. So that unfortunately is that loss. So let's go and see what's going on. See if we can find something interesting, maybe around Davra. There we go.
Just by Morphus there. So it's a close bit between these two, just trying to grab a little extra time on the final lap.
This is just for the fun of it now. Even if this were a real race, this wouldn't be for points. It's just make your sponsors happy. We should go to the front though. So we watch Bubbly Biscuits.
Ready to cross the line. That's a side camera. I haven't seen that one before. No, it's doing it based on the corner as they come round.
Yeah.
No,
These
that
the
was
2 Lesmo corners.
Lesmo corners. Right, I understand. I see why.
Down into the huge straight under the bridge. Quickly through the Ascari chicanes.
I see what you mean about the time change for Tagmata after that damage as well.
All he's got to do now, get around Parabolica and he's won.
And that's just how it can change, just like that in an instant when it comes to things
What-
like this as
And
well.
that's really crappy for Tagmata as well, because it
Yeah.
was not his fault.
No.
Oh, interestingly though,
Oh, is that a fuel warning?
he
But that
just
looks
got
like
to the
Bubbly
end with the
Biscuit's
right amount
just
of fuel.
finished.
Yeah. Again, if this were a real race, he would have to give a fuel sample at the end of the race. So you
Right.
have to leave a little bit of fuel in the tank so that the FIA can inspect it and make sure you've not been
Not
tampering
being
with the fuel.
tampered with, yeah.
And there have been cases of people who've lost their win because they didn't have enough fuel to provide that sample.
Oh my god.
So again, digital game. I think he was probably right on the edge then, which is where you want to be. So yeah, Tagmata finishing in 2nd place, Marmin in 3rd. Looks like Maz GP is going to come in 4th. There we go. Eventually, there's Grimsey. Going to get a last-minute position change, maybe? No, little bit of a cheeky wave.
I was going to get past Lindy on that one.
No, it's done for all of them. And these guys don't have to finish because they're lapped, basically. So as soon as they cross the line after the race leader, then that's over for them as well. But that is pretty much, apart from Andy Y.
Just coming round the end there.
Yeah, just in that final corner. And he should be the last one. There we go.
Wow.
That was
I can hear applause from there as well, yeah. An applause for our entrance on that F1 there. I need to actually get there. Drive of the day.
2002 Renault Clio. There you go.
That kind of how you wouldn't expect to see a 2002 Renault Clio as your driver of the day.
I think that's Dr. Bubbly Biscuit there collecting his trophy and champagne.
Is he going to manage to do the champagne, or is Tag Marty going to pick it up and bop him over the head with it?
It was. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Bubbly
Tag's
Biscuit
fault.
did nothing wrong.
Tag
had
there we
an
go. Tag
unfortunate
can
spin.
do that.
Yeah, but I would still blame the lapped driver for causing that crash.
Tag Marty, if you want to find out what Jin's seat number is, just come and speak to me later on.
I would be livid.
Actually, Jin, go and get Tag Marty a drink. Thank you very much.
So we're going to give. So Dr. Bubbly Biscuit gets the G923 wheel. Thank you very much to Logitech G for providing that. And as a little bit of a runner-up prize for Tag Matter as well, we're going to give him. We're going to give him a swag bag.
An Intel swag bag.
Everyone loves these, and I've actually remembered to put the socks in as well.
Fantastic.
So that we'll sort those out, and we'll get some photos of those
I've got to
prizes.
see if I can find some socks for Halloween. Spooky ones, I can see.
Do
you think I've got spooky socks?
If you ask Broomy nicely, maybe he can commission a design of spooky socks for next year.
Next year, excellent. Well, thank you very much for that, John, and thank you to all our contestants who've taken part. Thank you to the audience. That was great for the participation from there. Cheers, everyone. Actually, a woo from the audience. Go on. There you go. Thank you, everyone.
It didn't have the Gumpster style. I think we're back here next, aren't we? We're doing... the game we were going to play isn't here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know yet. We're going to swap it for some Flux.
Okay. I'm actually, at that time while you're playing Flux, I'm going to grab some people to play Flux. I'm going to be dealing with the rounds for people who are doing our fun tournament for Uno.
Okay.
And then after you've played your Flux game, we're
so
going to do the Uno
if you
game
could
as well.
find me some Flux players. I know Thomas is going to play from backstage. So I probably want at least 2 more Flux players.
Yeah, 3 or 4 people playing at the same time for that.
And we're just
teach people how to do it.
Well, you can't really teach people how to play Flux.
Well, it teaches you yourself, actually. If anyone
put the first card down, see what happens.
And it tells you the thing there.
Yeah, the reason we're doing that is just to introduce the whole Epic Tabletop thing.
Epic Tabletop. It was really great. It was really great play.
It was a good event.
I brought the large Uno cards to here, and they've been non-stop in and out of the shop. They've been non-stop. Everyone's been playing them.
I don't get where the Uno thing. I mean, you saw me playing on my phone the other day as well. It's even got to me. I just don't know why it's suddenly become popular. Even Mark over there from Intel was like, "Where did you get those huge cards from? I need a set."
Talk to me later. I'll sort those out.
He said it wasn't for him.
Oh,
Definitely
no, I think for sure. So, so plenty of things there. I'm actually going to go offline with my guys over there. We're going to be doing some Fall Guys fun tournament sponsored by Be Quiet over in that bit later on. And then obviously back here for the Uno one as well afterwards as well. But no, plenty of things still to go at EPIC34.
Definitely.
We're only on Saturday. Got the party tonight as well and got fine.
We've
got all the esports finals on stage, haven't we?
Yes,
this time round?
all 3.
First time.
So we're doing StarCraft 2 tonight.
Yeah.
And then Valorant and CS on stage in the morning. So again, for a lot of these people, it'll be the first time they've played on an esports stage.
Don't
so
do that with stage. It is a proper.
Stage.
No, it is a proper stage. It is a proper stage, proper esports stage, and it's great to be back doing these things on stage, online, and out there for all of you.
It is. So, just finish with a quick thank you to all of Epicland's partners and sponsors.
Absolutely.
Our hardware partners, Logitech G, our headline partners. Overclockers over there and Noble Chairs, and of course EPIC34 powered by Intel. We will see you for whatever's next on stage.
We will do. See you later.